Hey there, welcome to day 35. Cheers, a spirit. Day 35 of our Get Up and Go challenge. I can't believe we're on day 35 already. Wow, time flies. It seems like I start a challenge and it's just the beginning and it's going to take forever. And all of a sudden we're in the home stretch. We're running towards the end. Now, the A in our, can't find it here, the A in our soap model, because we're cleaning up our act in terms of how we handle challenges, how we handle change, how we handle any roadblocks or failures or situations that we're not sure that we can handle. We pop into the SOAP framework and we get that working in our subconscious level. So every time we're faced with anything, we're guaranteed the results that we want. We're guaranteed to come out better after the change or the failure or the stumbling block or the roadblock or the obstacle, whatever happens to be in our way, than before we hit that, before we ran into that little stop sign, that thing that stops us. And as I'm going through the model this time, this SOAP framework, I am working on my spirituality, my spiritual aspect, my spiritual health, to set the example for you in terms of one way to deal with this, right? One way to deal with this aspect in the area of our life. I'm going to take another drink of my spirit, which is actually just lemon water, but I was using it for another video I did today about on the rocks. When something happens and we feel like we're on the rocks, guess what? All these aspects of our life kick in and we have to decide what we're going to do about it. Are we going to stay on the rocks? Are we going to let ourselves go down with the ship and the ship to sink? Or are we going to do something about it? Guess what? We can always do something about that. We found that out yesterday as we explored the O in SOAP, our options. So what the heck does the A have to do with anything? Well, A, of course, in SOAP stands for action, because nothing happens in our life until we take actions. We can sit around and we can hope and we can wish and we can pray and we can look to things outside of ourselves to change so that we get better results. But guess what? It's not going to happen. Very often, if we sit around and wait for things to happen, things deteriorate and get worse. So we can sit around and do nothing, or we can say, I can have an impact on this. I am, and guess what? You are the only one that can have an impact on any area of your life, any situation of your life that you so choose. At least in terms of how you decide you're going to respond or react to things. Reaction is a kind of action. It's just not very powerful action, right? If something happens, say I get fired from my job, many people can relate to that right now, or say my business is shut down due to a pandemic. Many millions of people can relate to that right now as well. I can choose how I'm going to respond to that. I can go inside myself and I can feel like a victim and I can say, oh my God, isn't this awful? My business is destined to fail. There's nothing I can do about it. You can do that, and guess what will happen? Probably exactly what you expect to happen will happen. Your business will struggle and probably be on the rocks and maybe fail. Or you can say, oh my gosh, this happened. What am I going to do about it? What else is possible? What can I do about it? And you can use the SOAP model to brainstorm your way through possible options like we did yesterday. Now, this is just a list of 10 quick things that I brainstormed yesterday that I could do about my spirituality, my spiritual health, during this time or any other time. It's a pretty generic list. Let me grab my magnifying glass and I'll just run through it quickly for you so that you know I do this too. Now, this is just 10 of my ongoing list of how do I impact my spiritual health, my spiritual well-being, who I am and who, not just I am here on the planet, but who the bigger version of myself is. Because each and every one of us, whether we believe it or not, have who we are, who we show up on, the masks we wear, what we do every day, what we say, physically who we are. And then there's a bigger component of us that is our spirit, our soul, whatever you want to call it. I call it big me. There's big me and little me. Little me is the physical version of me. Big me is my bigger essence, who I am energetically, who I am and as a soul. Now, I just said I could get a spiritual coach. I could read a book about spirituality. I could do a workbook. I could take a course. I could research a different modality, one I've been curious about but never really had the time to explore. I've always been curious about Reiki, however you pronounce it, but I've never really dug into it or experienced it for myself. So maybe I could take a course on that, or I could research that modality. I could meditate, or I could expand and learn more about meditation. I could write it out. I could journal all of the things, and I already do some of these. I could attend a service in some sort of religious aspect. I could listen to a podcast. I could attend a webinar. That's just 10 quick things that took me maybe 30 seconds to knock off and say, how could I impact one of these areas of my life. And again, I'm doing spiritual, but you might be doing physically. It's easy to brainstorm what we could do physically. We think we don't know what we need to do to impact any one of these areas of our life, but guess what? Nobody knows better than you do what you can do and what you could do and what's possible for you than you. And we tell ourselves, I don't know why, but it seems like an overriding, social consciousness way of thinking to think and say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Because if we say, I don't know, then we let ourselves off the hook from doing anything or taking any action because we're just frozen in that spot of, I don't know what to do. Guess what? We always know what to do. Sometimes we just don't want to do it, especially when it comes to relationships and other things that are hard, right? Sometimes we know that a person in our life, might be our significant other, is toxic and really bad for us. It might not be toxic to other people, but they're not the right person for us. Yet we ignore all the signs, we ignore all of the things that are right in our face that show us that we're in the wrong job, the wrong business, the wrong career, the wrong relationship, the wrong location. Maybe we're actually living in a place that is physically harmful to us, yet we stay there because of all these other reasons that we think we should. But we know if we just got ourselves in a different location, we would be significantly better. A lot of people that have health challenges live up here where I live in the Midwest, and I am one of those. I know that the ice and the cold and the snow are physically bad for the things that ail me, right? And that if I were to live in a southern warmer location in the coldest winter months, I would actually be healthier and feel better. Yet I don't move because my family's here, because all these other good reasons that I stay. Yet I know that for me personally, were I to live in a better climate in the colder months of the year, I could still come Christmas and visit, but I still stay here for whatever reasons, right? But we all know, I know, you know, we all know that there's things that we could do to make ourselves thrive and feel better. So those all involve action, right? Sometimes those actions are tough. Sometimes it's hard decisions and choices that we need to make, but at some point we have to balance what is the best thing for me, my health, my well-being in any one of these areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, our contribution in our relationships. What is the best move for you? Only you can decide that. So action. What the heck do we mean about action? And when do we take action? Of course, I think I've probably said this before, maybe 5 times before, that now is the perfect time to take action. Why? Because there's no other time that we can act. Any other time, the only instant that we can take action is always in the right now moment. It's this minute and the next and the next and the next, but it's only the minute that we're living right now that we have any ability to impact or take action. Where we are right now, our results in any area or aspect of our life are the cumulative effect of every decision, every choice, every thought, every feeling, every experience that we've had in the past up to this point. The results we're experiencing right this minute, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, are the culmination of all those experiences. And if we like what we're getting, that's awesome. Just keep doing more of what you've been doing. If there's an area or an aspect that we don't like, then we need to choose to make and take a different action. So how do you choose? How do you decide what action to take? The biggest thing to remember is you don't have to think about anything more than the next action, than the action you're going to take right now. So often we get bogged down and we don't take any action because we freeze, because we look at where we want to go versus where we are right now, and we get overwhelmed thinking about all of the things we're going to have to do to get there. But the truth is, we don't ever have to be overwhelmed or stressed out about it, because we only have to think about what is the next thing, what is the very next step I'm going to do and I'm going to take to move me toward that. I don't have to get there in one step. Nobody gets to where they ultimately want to be in one step. And here's the real rub and the real secret and the real truth. We never, ever, ever, ever are done. If we think we're ever going to be done developing in any one of these areas of our life, we're absolutely crazy. Because as soon as we get to that mountaintop where we think we want to be, where we think it's nirvana and the perfect thing for us, we'll get there. I guarantee you'll get there. But then, even before you get there, you decide, all right, this is awesome. I'm here now versus where I was before. But this top of the mountain, guess what? There's always another mountaintop. There's always another thing that you're going to want. The nature of humanity, the nature of human beings is that we always want to continually improve, continually make progress, and continually move forward. And once we get and achieve those goals and objectives that we think that we have for ourselves, once we get there, we always want more. Nobody stops wanting more until the day that we expire and die and transition from wanting to work toward that. So the actions that we take, sometimes that seems overwhelming, but the only action we need to take is the next action, the next step, the right now step. And how do we come up with what that's going to be? Well, we look at our options list from yesterday and we ask ourselves some questions about that list. You can do really complicated problem-solving, decision-making techniques on deciding what your next action is going to be, but it can be really much simpler than that. You can just look at the list. I can look at my list from yesterday and I can say, all right, what is the thing I can do right now? What's the easiest thing for me to do? Because any one of these things would move me toward my objective of improving my spirituality and how I feel about my essence and who I really am and how I want to show up in the world. Any one of these things and any one of the hundreds of things that we put on our list on a continuous basis can move us in that direction. We can ask ourselves, well, what is easiest for me to do right now? What can I do right now that I don't need any other help or any other resources? You can always do a Google search. You can always pick up the phone and call somebody. We can always do something simple that will move us in the direction of what we want. Guess what? Action trumps fear. So if you're afraid to go after your big goals and your big objectives and the big things that you want in any area of your life, all you have to do is take one step toward it. It doesn't have to be a big step, but it has to be a step toward it, because that's what? That shows the world, the universe, whatever you believe in, God, anything else, exactly your intention, and that you are willing to put forth some effort and energy to make that a reality in your life. And as soon as you take one little step toward what you want, all kinds of other steps and opportunities open up for you. Things you've never even seen before. Things that aren't even on your list of 10 to 100 things that you might do and you might take action toward automatically appear because you've taken that one step. Until you take that one step, nothing happens. And I know that's crazy to think about, but until we prove and show that we're willing to put forth some effort and energy into the thing that we want and to overcome our fear of going for it, nothing really happens. We just stay sitting on the couch wishing and hoping and wanting things to happen in our life. But as soon as you stand up, get out of bed, step off that couch and do something. Heck, you can even sit on the couch and do a Google search, right? Most of us are always within a couple of feet of our phone. You can do something right now, right? You can do a lot of things on your phone right now to move you toward what it is that you want in any area and aspect of your life. So our challenge today is, of course, take an action. Take some action. I don't care what it is. And then share in the comments below what happened. You can say positive, negative. You can just put a little plus sign or a negative sign or a 0 for neutral. Hey, and that's just indicating to us that you did do something. You don't have to tell us what you did. If you want to tell us what you did and share that and share the results of that, yay, more power to you. And guess what? Even if what you do fails miserably and you fall flat on your face with it, share that too, because guess what? We need to know that everything we try isn't going to work out perfectly for us. Did you walk immediately the first time you tried? Well, you might think you did, but ask somebody that knew you when you were a baby and you were learning to walk. Did you try? Did you fail? Did you fall down and have to get back up? Of course, probably thousands of times, right? Nobody was counting, but you probably tried thousands of times before anyone even noticed that you were trying to walk, right? So realize that every time that you failed and got up again, that was a success. So as many times as we've ever failed, if you're watching me now, if you're breathing, you've had many, many more successes in your life than you've ever had failures. I don't care what your personal situation is right now. I don't care what my personal situation is right now. I am a success. You are a success, and otherwise you wouldn't be here anymore, right? That's just the nature of our lives. So action item today, do one thing. I don't care what it is. And if you don't do it, guess what? It's not going to hurt me, right? If you don't choose to do anything with this, if you don't choose to take an action toward what you want, it doesn't hurt anyone but you. Absolutely no one. Yet, it's pretty easy to take an action towards what we want. And then we'll see that day by day, step by step, acting in the now is the way to get anything and everything that you want. That's it. Have an absolutely amazing day. I'm going to enjoy my lemon juice on the rocks. If I can help you in any way, if you're struggling, if you don't think you know the next step to take, hit me up in the comments below or direct message me, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, And we will just make sure that you know exactly all of the options, all of the things that you could do right now, because every single one of us can do something right now to move us toward what we want. I am continuing to work through, I think I've shared that I'm doing the Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting playbook from Lynn Grabhorn. I'm continuing to work through that, and I'm finding that it hits all of these areas and aspects of our life, right? It doesn't, I think I started it because of relationships, but I've been wanting to do it. The last time I went through the workbook was in 2011. I've been wanting to do it again for a long time, and always made excuses of why I didn't want to, or why it was hard, or why I wasn't going to do it. And now, as part of this challenge, I have committed to myself to getting through the whole book, doing the whole book, every activity, everything in the book, and it hits a lot on spirituality and all of that. It brings everything, every area and aspect of our life full circle and together as you work through the exercises, and helps us to realize, helps me to realize and remember how much we actually can create and impact, not only in our lives, but in the lives of those we love and care about. That's it. Have an absolutely amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow to discuss the P in soap and the P in my spirituality, just as an example, so that you can learn and know what to do and how to apply this model to every area and aspect of your life as well. All right, have a great day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Life is good, by the way.